Retro gaming has been all the rage over the years. We've seen Nintendo release their NES Mini and SNES Mini consoles to big success that other companies decided to join in on the idea. Sony did this with the PS1 Classic, Neo Geo released a Mini Arcade, Sega released their Genesis Mini, and heck, even Konami released Hudson Soft's TurboGrafx 16 Mini. There have also been a variety of portable devices like the BitBoy and Pocket Go, with early renditions using unlicensed ROMs, almost like a cheap Chinese knockoff device. Blaze Entertainment has decided to enter the fray with their own retro gaming portable device called the EverCade. So, what does the EverCade provide to make it stand out from other retro gaming emulation-based devices? Let's find out. The EverCade is a cartridge-based retro gaming portable that is looking to bring back the feeling of collecting retro games. Unlike emulation-based devices that have you loading up ROMs on a storage media, the EverCade utilizes cartridges with a collection of games on them. When purchasing the starter pack for $80, you get the console with Atari Collection 1. Fork over just another $20 for the premium pack, and you'll nab 2 more cartridges, Data East Collection 1 and Interplay Collection 1. You'll notice the collections are publisher-named collections, which is neat. These are all officially licensed by those companies, so they're legal and makes revisiting games certain publishers made back in the day a fun revisit. In the box, you will also receive a micro USB charging cable, but the console does not come with the mini HDMI cable needed to output the games to a TV, so you'll need to purchase one of these separately. Let's look at the game boxes here. These clamshell-style boxes are very reminiscent of the Sega Genesis boxes, holding the cartridge in place and having color instruction manuals in each box. This is really cool, and I like the overall quality of the packaging here. The best part is that each cartridge costs only $20, making purchasing other cartridges for the device not only affordable, but more enticing to the consumer. Upon booting up the console, you'll see the Blaze Entertainment logo appear, followed by an 80s style boot up screen of the EverCade logo. If there's no cartridge, the system will state that one is needed to play. There's no system UI to tinker around with if there's no cartridge in the console. Once you have a cartridge in, you will see a menu selection of games showing their box art, title, in-game screenshot, the year released, and the type of game it is. Simply select the game and you're off. Now, as mentioned, the premium pack includes 3 cartridges. For the Atari Collection 1, you got Alien Brigade, Adventure, Aquaventure, Asteroids, Canyon Bomber, Crystal Castles, Centipede, Double Dunk, Desert Falcon, Food Fight, Gravatar, Missile Command, Motor Psycho, Night Driver, Ninja Golf, Steeplechase, Sword Quest, Tempest, Video Pinball, and Yours Return. For the Data East Collection 1, you get Bad Dudes, Burning Rubber, Burger Time, 2 Crude Dudes, Fighter's History, Joe and Mac 2, Karate Champ, Magical Drop 2, Midnight Resistance, and Side Pocket. And lastly, for the Interplay Collection 1, you get Battle Chess, Boogerman, Clay Fighter, Earthworm Jim 1, Incantation, and Titan. Alright, now, one of the complaints at launch was that button mapping was off for many of these games. Thankfully, Blaze Entertainment took this feedback to heart and just launched firmware version 1.2 that now provides players to have button mapping options when accessing the settings, pressing the menu button in-game. This helps tremendously with making some of these games more playable like Earthworm Jim and Incantation. After testing this device out over the past couple of days, I have to say I really like the feel of the console. It's similar in size to the PSP and even has the same 4.3-inch LCD screen with 480 by 272 resolution. The D-pad is definitely akin to that of the Sega Genesis and Sega Saturn, and the face buttons all feel tactile and responsive. The top triggers have a bit more click than I'd like, but it still does the job pretty well. I do like that the on-off power switch is a physical switch versus a single power button, and the volume controls are actual buttons as well. The LCD screen looks pretty good, but should you tilt the console a bit, you'll see some of the colors fade at an angle. Honestly though, I never really found this as an issue, just more of something that's noticeable. While an IPS screen would have been better, this isn't bad by any means. So, let's discuss the games. Since all the games have been relicensed to Blaze Entertainment for the EverCade, You'll probably notice having removed either the Licensed by Nintendo of America on the title screen logo or even the Sega logo missing from Earthworm Jim's boot up animation. All the games are running off emulation, but for the most part everything runs quite well. The only game that I noticed some slight audio slowdown was Earthworm Jim. It wasn't awful, but a few snippets found a second of slowdown and then it went back to normal. Seeing that Blaze Entertainment is able to push out firmware updates to the EverCade, I could see this being fixed in the near future. At least I hope. Outside of that one thing I noticed, all the other games I tested worked as they should. You can access the settings in-game pressing the menu button, and choose to change the screen size between original and full screen, and you could choose to also use save states. Now, not every game is a winner in these compilations, but your mileage may vary depending on what your gaming tastes are or your memories are of these games. On the Interplay Collection 1, I feel like there should have been more than just 6 games in the cartridge. Out of the 6 here, only 3 of them are really enjoyable. Earthworm Jim being the best one, of course, Incantation, and Boogerman. Something like Clay Fighter is, well, it's still Clay Fighter. I was never really a fan of it back then, and I still can't seem to get into it now. Battle Chess is, well, maybe not something I would have considered even putting on this collection. And Titan is a unique take on Breakout, but not a great one. On the Atari Collection 1, you've got some hit or miss games, but man, Ninja Golf? That's easily my favorite of the collection. Such a bizarre idea, and honestly, I found myself constantly coming back to this one. On the Data East Collection 1, I'd have to say most of the games here are very enjoyable. This is probably my favorite collection cartridge, bundled with the premium pack. Outside of Fighter's history being a poor man's Street Fighter clone, all the other games are definitely good. Midnight Resistance, 2 Crude Dudes, Burning Rubber, and Magical Drop 2 are probably my personal favorites on here. Outputting the EverCade via HDMI does a great job displaying your games on the TV in 720p. However, unlike the Nintendo Switch that lets you dock and undock your console to continue your gaming mid-game, the EverCade resets the console whether you plug or unplug the mini HDMI cable, so be sure to utilize those save states on the console. The battery life on the console does run about 4 hours roughly. But one of my gripes I have to say is that the cartridges have some multiplayer capable games, but there's no way of playing with a friend at the time of this review. The other thing I noticed that's a minor issue, but it's still there, is that the screenshot on display for Joe and Mac 2 is actually from the first game, not from the sequel that's in this collection. So here's a question I was asking myself while playing this. Who is the intended audience here? I mean, a lot of these games I can play on the Nintendo Switch, which is already a hybrid console. The Atari Flashback collection on the Switch has almost all the games on the Atari compilation that's found here, except for the excellent Ninja Golf. Several of the Data East games are available on the Nintendo Switch eShop and are the arcade versions like Bad Dudes and 2 Crude Dudes, while Joe and Mac 2 is on the SNES Switch app. That being said, this is not a bad jab towards the EverCade, but rather a realistic question. I do like the system and the idea behind it quite a bit, and think there's a lot of promise for it. There are upcoming compilation cartridges that I am looking very much forward to, like the Atari Lynx collection and Oliver Twins collection. If they can also secure some arcade games on here, I think that's when you'll see an even more diverse selection of games that are harder to come across normally. I did cover this review based on the contents of the premium pack, but to my understanding, the Pico collection is the most popular cartridge that EverCade owners are fond of, so I'll need to pick that one up to see for myself. The EverCade is a really cool retro gaming device that is going to live or die based on the future cartridge compilations that Blaze secures for the unit. The idea of multi-game cartridges to purchase and play on the unit is really cool given the current state of gaming trying to push digital media, and it continues to evoke a sense of ownership of games that digital never can. So far, I'm digging what's here, and I'm really hoping to see what exciting new announcements EverCade will have in the near future.